The most important Android skins briefly explained. Google Pixel UI. Android is the world's most popular smartphone operating system, but every company modifies and customizes it differently through its own Android skin. Because Android is developed by Google, many people believe that Google phones offer the true stock Android experience. However, that is not entirely true. In the past, the Google Nexus lineup came with an almost untouched version of stock Android, but today, Google uses its own interface called Pixel UI on the Google Pixel lineup. Pixel UI keeps the simple and clean design of the original Android experience while adding exclusive features and optimizations developed directly by Google. The interface is known for having very little bloatware, extremely fast updates, and strong integration of artificial intelligence features. Pixel phones constantly receive exclusive features through updates known as Pixel Feature Drops. Some of these features eventually arrive on other Android phones as well, but many remain available only on Pixel devices, including certain design elements and artificial intelligence tools. Compared to other heavier and more feature-packed interfaces that we will discuss next, Pixel UI delivers a simpler, smoother, and more refined experience that stays closer to Android's original vision. Samsung One UI. One UI is Samsung's smartphone interface and one of the most popular and advanced versions of Android in the world. One UI was launched in 2018 to replace the older Samsung Experience and TouchWiz interfaces, which were heavily criticized in the past for being slow and overloaded. Today, however, One UI is considered one of the most complete Android skins available. Compared to other Android skins, One UI heavily changes the classic Android look and experience, focusing mainly on users who want advanced control and a large number of built-in features. Samsung places a strong emphasis on multitasking, the Galaxy ecosystem, artificial intelligence, and seamless integration between devices. The interface is also known for its excellent software support, with Samsung now being one of the fastest manufacturers when it comes to Android updates. Although some users still consider One UI heavier compared to stock Android, many of its features later inspired official Android versions developed by Google itself. Xiaomi HyperOS. Before HyperOS, Xiaomi's interface was called MIUI and was known for having a design heavily inspired by iOS, including the lack of an app drawer and many visual elements similar to Apple phones. Over time, however, Xiaomi started building its own identity, and in 2024, the company launched the new HyperOS alongside the Xiaomi 14 lineup. Xiaomi's interface is known for its large number of features, advanced multitasking, and extensive customization options. HyperOS also includes features inspired by Apple's ecosystem, such as Control Center, while adding optimizations for performance, cross-device connectivity, and extended battery life through features like Ultra Battery Saver. However, compared to Google or Samsung, Xiaomi does not always provide the fastest software updates, and the interface is often criticized for pre-installed apps, built-in advertisements, and more aggressive data collection practices. Before we continue, let's take a quick moment to talk about today's sponsor, Wondershare Recoverit. Recoverit is a data recovery tool that can help recover deleted files, formatted partitions, videos, photos, and documents from SSDs, hard drives, USB drives, SD cards, cameras, and more. The process is actually really simple. You just select the drive, start a scan, and it automatically searches for lost files. It even supports advanced deep scans for cases where files seem completely gone. And since I work with a lot of video files, it's especially useful that it supports many of the formats commonly used by cameras and drones. It can also recover files from accidentally formatted drives, corrupted storage devices, or even lost partitions, which can save hours of work if you edit videos or store important projects on external drives. So if you've ever deleted footage by mistake or lost important files, be sure to check out Wondershare Recoverit using the link in the description. OnePlus Oxygen OS. OnePlus became popular largely because of Oxygen OS. In the beginning, Oxygen OS was considered one of the cleanest and fastest Android skins available. In recent years, however, the system has become very similar to ColorOS from Oppo, since both brands are part of the same corporate group. Even so, Oxygen OS remains one of the most appreciated Android interfaces thanks to its smooth experience, fast animations, and attention to small interface details. The system includes interesting features such as Zen Space, a mode that temporarily locks access to your phone to help you stay focused, along with unique always-on display designs. Compared to One UI or HyperOS, Oxygen OS is not as overloaded with features, but it offers a very good balance between performance, clean design, and a premium user experience. Oppo ColorOS. ColorOS is one of the Android versions that differs the most from Google's original system, featuring major similarities to iOS. The interface offers a huge number of customization options, from icons and ringtones to always-on display animations and the overall system design. Oppo aims to give users control over almost every aspect of the phone, which makes ColorOS especially popular among people who want a feature-rich and visually different experience. However, ColorOS is also considered a heavier system, with many pre-installed applications and software updates that are not always as fast or as consistent as the ones provided by Google or Samsung. Huawei HarmonyOS. For many years, Huawei used the EMUI interface, one of the most popular Android versions in China, known for its design originally inspired by iOS, aggressive battery optimizations, and strong integration between Huawei devices. However, after restrictions imposed by the United States and the loss of Google services, the company began developing its own software ecosystem called HarmonyOS. The interface is also known for its excellent performance and battery optimizations, as well as its strong integration of artificial intelligence features and camera systems. However, the biggest issue for international users remains the lack of Google services on many Huawei devices. Because of this, Huawei developed its own app gallery marketplace and Huawei mobile services as alternatives to Google's ecosystem. Vivo Origin OS. In the past, Vivo used FunTouch OS on the global market and Origin OS only in China. However, starting with Origin OS 6, the company officially began replacing FunTouch OS globally. The new interface brings a much more modern design, smoother animations, advanced artificial intelligence features, and extensive customization options, and it is considered one of the most visually impressive Android versions created by a Chinese manufacturer. Still, we have to admit that there are many similarities to iOS. Honor Magic OS. After separating from Huawei in 2020, Honor continued its independent development and started building its own software ecosystem through the Magic OS interface. However, Magic OS still keeps many elements inspired by older Huawei phones, from the animation style and interface design to multitasking and cross-device integration. Magic OS is built on Android and places a strong focus on artificial intelligence and productivity. The interface includes interesting features such as Magic Portal, which allows fast content sharing between apps through intelligent drag-and-drop actions, along with artificial intelligence tools for translation, automatic summaries, photo editing, and performance optimization. Compared to stock Android, Magic OS changes the visual experience quite significantly and comes with many additional features, though without feeling as overloaded as some of the more aggressive Chinese Android skins. Nothing OS. Nothing OS is one of the newest and most unique Android interfaces on the market. Compared to other Android skins, Nothing OS heavily changes the look of the system through a retro-futuristic style inspired by minimalist technology. The interface uses monochrome icons, minimalist widgets, custom fonts, and animations that perfectly match the transparent design of Nothing phone devices. The most interesting feature remains the glyph interface system. The LED lights integrated into the back of the phone, which can display notifications, calls, charging status, or lighting effects synchronized with certain functions and applications. Beyond the design, however, Nothing OS stays fairly close to stock Android. The system is smooth, clean, and free from excessive bloatware, targeting users who prefer simplicity and visual experience instead of an overwhelming number of features. Asus Zen UI and ROG UI. Asus uses two different Android interfaces depending on the type of phone, Asus Zen Phone or ROG Phone. Zen UI is known for its simple, smooth experience and the lack of excessive pre-installed applications. The interface keeps the classic Android look and feels very similar to Pixel UI from Google, while still adding a few useful Asus-specific features and optimizations. The focus is placed on stability, performance, and a clean user experience. On the other hand, ROG UI completely changes the style of the system and is built specifically for gaming. The interface includes aggressive animations, PC gaming-inspired visuals, bold colors, and gamer-focused features. Asus also integrates tools such as Game Genie, which provides quick access to performance settings, macros, screen recording, frame rate monitoring, and game optimizations. Compared to interfaces like One UI or HyperOS, Asus systems are simpler and much closer to original Android, something appreciated by users who prefer a cleaner and more stable experience. However, Asus is often criticized for software support and updates that are not as fast or as consistent as those offered by Google or Samsung. These were some of the biggest Android skins on the market and how each company tries to turn Android into something completely different. But now I'm curious, which Android skin do you use and which one do you think is the best? If you enjoyed this kind of video, make sure to subscribe to our channel, and if you give us a like and leave a comment, it really helps us out. Thank you.